Hi and welcome to this episode of On the Money. The recent federal election saw the coalition emerge as narrow winners, suggesting that whilst the bulk of the government's 2016 budget measures are likely to remain firm, any controversial measures are unlikely to be passed. Over the coming months, keep an eye out for a crackdown on superannuation tax breaks, as well as a freeze on GP rebates, while controversial changes, such as the shaking up of negative gearing policies, are unlikely. When preparing your tax this year, make sure you're up to date on all the recent changes and measures applied by the ATO. These include an instant asset write-off for assets costing less than $20,000 for small businesses, the company tax rate reduction for small businesses from 30% to 28.5%, immediate deductions for startup costs, and more. Small business owners will be pleased to hear they're now able to change the legal structure of their business without incurring any income tax liability when active assets are transferred by one entity to another. This will apply to specific transactions, including CGT assets, trading stock, revenue assets, and depreciating assets. In order to use this rollover, each party to the transfer must be an eligible entity meeting particular small business entity requirements. October 1 will see GST obligations changing for overseas businesses. Those supplying to Australian businesses will no longer need to register for GST if they only make GST-free supplies through an enterprise outside of Australia. If they have a business presence in Australia of less than 184 days in a 12-month period, and if they have a GST turnover of less than $75,000. Changes also apply to GST-registered importers regarding the calculation of the taxable importation value. This tax time, be sure to stay on top of all work-related expenses, as the ATO have implemented new technology that allows them to compare similar individuals and flag those potentially overclaiming. Any individual claims that are substantially higher than those claimed by others in similar occupations will be thoroughly checked. So remember, work-related expenditure such as car, phone or uniform expenses must have been paid for by yourself, relate to your job, and you must have records to provide. The ATO has implemented new rules for selling property with a market value of $2 million or more by adding a 10% non-final withholding tax on all contracts entered into on or after July 1, 2016. If you're selling property with a market value of $2 million or more, and you're an Australian resident vendor, avoid the 10% withholding by providing a clearance certificate to the purchaser prior to settlement. Or for foreign resident vendors, you may apply for a withholding variation. Good news for small businesses with 19 staff or less, as the ATO has extended the deadline for you to be SuperStream compliant until October 28, 2016. SuperStream is a government initiative that aims to improve the efficiency of the superannuation system by asking employers to submit employee contributions and other relevant information in a standardized electronic format. Small businesses need to choose a system, update their employee records, and become SuperStream compliant before October 28, 2016 to avoid penalties. Do you know how to spot a scam? The ATO has seen a rise in the number of scam emails, SMSs, and phone calls with criminals trying to steal money or personal information. Be wary, as these scams can be very convincing, with many individuals falling victim to them each year. Stay on the lookout for unsolicited communication, intimidating language, unusual payment methods such as iTunes or gift vouchers, poorly written communication, promises of a tax refund, and being asked for personal information from untrustworthy sources. That wraps up this episode of On the Money. If you'd like further information about these or other accounting issues, we welcome your call or email. See you next time.